Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Chemistry lecture by Dr. Shah. I welcome you 10th standard in the period of chemistry. Today we will learn periodic classification of element. As you know that earlier due to some technical issues we were not able to complete the period. Many students not able to join it. That's why today I planned that I will make a video and post it on YouTube so that you can refer and re-refer after uh, after some time. So first you have to go to the YouTube and then watch the whole video and come down on specified period on specified time that I will let you know at Google Meet or Zoom, whatever may be, and at that session we will clear your doubts if any doubts you are having in this particular period. So we will begin with the very beginning because that day something went wrong. That's why many students not able to catch the subject. So let's begin the lesson. Now the first question arise over here is what types of matter. So types of matter, or state of matter, that is solid, liquid and gaseous. Those who want to know more, I just enlist a few name, that is plasma. This is also a state of matter or type of matter. Second is BE condensation. This is not included in your syllabus, but I am telling you for your extra knowledge. BE condensation. So these are the types of matter. So I think first question is clear. What are the types of matter? That are solid, liquid, gaseous, plasma and BE condensation. These two are not included in your syllabus. You don't have to worry about it. It is an extra knowledge given by me. Correct? Now the next question is what is the type of elements. What are the different types of the elements? So the type of elements are basically metals, each and everything, metals, non-metals, and in between them are the metalloids. I will give an example of each of them. Iron is metal, oxygen is non-metal, and what is a metalloid? Anybody guess what is a metalloid? Any name of the metalloid? Okay, I will solve the query. That is silicon. It is a one of the example of metalloid. Okay. Next thing is that what is the next question? What are the smallest particles of the matter? Everybody know that are atoms. That are atoms. What is the difference between molecules of the element and compound? So here we have to differentiate between molecules of an element and compound. What is the difference? What is the difference between molecules of the element? For example, I say O2 or I say N2. These are the molecules of the element oxygen and nitrogen. Here the two atoms of oxygen are present, two atoms of the nitrogen are present. Same way, what is the molecules of compound? So what you get from here, you get that molecules of element are same in nature, and molecules of the compound, they are different in nature. They are different in nature. So what are they? For example, H2O. If I say molecule of one molecule of H2O means what? It contains two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. Correct? So molecules of compound are different in nature and molecule of elements are same in nature. Correct? Now we will move forward, that is classification of elements. In classification of elements, let me zoom it a little bit. We have learned there are some interesting facts also that I have told you in the some previous uh, period that went wrong, that we use elements since ancient time. We use gold, we use silver, we use iron, copper is used to make utensils. Okay, and copper is the first discovered element that I have told you. Okay, and one more interesting fact is that today 118 elements are known to the scientific world. Means today we have discovered total 118 elements, out of which 90 elements are naturally occurring. They are naturally occurring, and rest of 28 elements, they are man made. They are man made, so they are artificial. Okay, so can you name me the first element that is man made? That name is technetium. That name is technetium. That is first man made element. Okay, now get back to the our main topic. Today 118 elements were known to the scientific world. Okay, in 1800 only 30 elements were known. More number of elements get discovered during the course of time. Okay, to ease or to get a very comprehensive knowledge of these elements, then scientists gathered whole information and they used to classify classify, is there any similarities between these atoms? If the similarity is there, they put that all elements in a particular group. If there is some dissimilarities according to their masses, according to their, so scientists use first the similarities between atoms to classify. Then they use their properties may be their physical properties or chemical properties to classify them. Okay, based on these things, based on their physical properties, scientists classify them as metals. Sorry, scientists classify them as metals, non-metals, and another class which is in between metals and non-metals, that is called as non-metalloids. They are called as metalloids. Now we will dive into the lesson and we will learn what is the earlier attempts of classification of elements, out of which the first thing that gets into this classification is Dobereiner triad. What is this Dobereiner triad? Basically, a German scientist whose name is Dobereiner in year 1817 suggested that the properties of elements are related to their atomic masses. Just memorize this sentence. What he suggested, properties of elements are related to their atomic masses. Means what he said, that a similar property is repeated after a particular mass is there. So that in order to prove this, he made a group of three elements each having a similar properties, okay, similar chemical properties, and called them as triad. What he made a group of lithium, sodium and potassium having a similar chemical properties, and these three together they are called as triad, and this triad is called as Doberener's triad. Likewise, he made a three types of triad, three groups. First group is lithium and all. First group is lithium and all. So lithium, sodium, and potassium. Second group, what he made is, that is calcium, barium, and strontium. That Sr is for the strontium. Okay, and last group is chlorine, bromine, and iodine. One of the interesting thing that in this group is that he arranged all three elements in the triad in an increasing number of their atomic masses. So first is lithium, second is sodium, and third is potassium. First is lithium, second is sodium, third is potassium. That is what increasing number of their atomic masses. And what he found, that is what the interesting, he found the first element of this group, that is lithium, and last, that is third element, that is potassium. When we add them, when we add the weight of lithium plus potassium and divide it by 2, we will get the actual weight of sodium, that is the atom in the middle. So this is a lithium, second is sodium, and potassium. If we add the weight of potassium and lithium and we combine them and divide it by 2, we will get the weight of sodium. That is what the interesting thing. So here, if we add the weight, if we add the weight of lithium with the potassium, that is, so lithium's weight is 6.9, potassium weight is 39.1, 39.1, and we will divide it by 2, we will get 23. That is what the exactly weight of the sodium. Same is true with the second group, same is true with the third group. One of the drawback of Doberener's triad is that all known elements that could not be classified to the Doberener's triad. How many elements are present in the world? We can't classify all the elements into this triad. It is applicable only for these three groups. So this is a drawback. So to overcome this drawback, before that you have to identify Doberener's triad in the following groups of element having a similar characteristics. So you have to just you have to do some homework and find out whether this is a Doberener's triad, this is a Doberener's triad, this is a Doberener's triad. How can you do that? You have to add this number to this number, means 24.3 plus 87.6, and divide it by 2. If you get the answer 40.1, then this is a Doberener's triad. If you not get the answer, then this is not Doberener's triad. Okay. So there is a one drawback in Doberener's triad is that all the known elements could not be classified into Doberener's triad. That's why the another scientist who secondly attempt in 1866, that his name is John Newland. He is an English scientist. What he did, he arranged all elements known at that time. Okay, in the arranged all elements known at that time with an increasing order of their atomic masses. What is this atomic masses? Atomic masses are basically the weight of an atom. So smaller weight will be here, the bigger weight one element is here, the bigger one is here, the bigger one is here, the bigger one is here. Like that, all atoms are arranged in increasing atomic masses. So he started basically with the hydrogen and ended up with what? He started with the lightest atom, hydrogen, and ended with the thorium. And what he observed during this arrangement of atoms in a particular atomic masses elements, what he observed when he arranged all elements known at that time, only 56 elements are known at that time. At that time, he noticed that he found similarities between the properties of an element at every eighth number. Means one atom is here, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. So this first element shows exact similarities with the 8 one. Now here is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Likewise, second one shows the exactly after the 8 is 9, okay, and third one shows the exact similarities with the 10. Fourth will show, means what, after every eighth element they show a similar properties those of the first element. So in order to see what is that, basically here is the he just a minute, just a minute, just a minute. For example, sodium is the eighth element from the lithium. Both have similar properties. Also, the magnesium shows the similarity to barium. Chlorine shows the similarities to fluorine. We will stick with the book example. So, sodium shows the similarities between, which is the eighth element from the lithium. It shows the similarities with the lithium. Same way, lithium shows the similarities with the potassium. Same is the case with the carbon, shows the similarities with the silicon. Why? Because if we arrange 1, 2, 3, 4 according to their atomic masses, according to their weight, we will get the similarities of first element with the 8 elements. So that reason he just he for that reason Newland name it to the western musical note that is called as do re mi fa so, like this one, which is exactly similar to the our saptak notes. What is that saptak note? Sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa. So he says that they are resemble to, like what, like I am trying to recall it. Sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa, पाधानी के बाद पाधानी, आफ्टर पाधानी इट कम्स सा अगेन. सेम वे, like this, sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa, sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa. Likewise, sa is coming again and again after the eighth note. Same way, the similarities between atoms are existed. One first atom is similar to the eighth element. That's why he formed the law is called as law of octaves. Means first element is. So students, due to some issue in my recorder, what where I left, so he formed the laws of octaves. What octaves means? First element shows the similarities with the 8 elements. As you know the car name is Skoda Octavia. What is this Octavia means? Octavia means 8. So Skoda company successfully launches 7 car, and their 8 success car, they name the 8th car of them as a Skoda Octavia, which is also a having a great success. So Newland used this law in order to classify the elements. I think all things are clear. Rest of the things we will clear in our doubt session. Okay, so Newland's laws of octaves has some certain limitations. So we have to see that limitations. So one of the limitation is that there are total 8 waves of music saptak, okay, and each contains 7 element. So it is exactly what 56, only 56 elements are known at that time, okay. And if we apply these uh, laws of octaves to our modern periodic table or 118 elements, what we will get, only this law is applicable till calcium, that is the 20th in number, okay. Another thing that you noticed during this Newland's Newland's laws of octaves on this table, that he places cobalt and nickel, two elements at a time, okay. And he thought that no more elements will be discovered in future. That's why only these 56 elements are the only elements that will exist in the universe, okay. He plays two elements at a time in a single note also, and these elements are not showing the similarities, okay. Like the iron is cobalt and nickel, they are not showing the similarities, but he also plays them. Newland adjusted two elements in same slot and also put some unlike elements under the same note. So cobalt and nickel, these are the unlike element, he placed both in them. Another example is this one, okay. His law is working very well in the lighter elements. The heavier the element, this law is not applicable. So these are the few drawbacks. What is the first drawback? Drawback, it is only applicable till the 20th element in our periodic table, modern periodic table. First drawback. Second drawback, he thought that the only 56 elements will be in the universe, no more elements will be discovered in the future, okay. Second drawback. So didn't put any vacant space so that the newer elements get fitted in that. Third, there is no more place for the newly discovered element. Fourth is that two elements uh, that are showing dissimilarities, he also put that elements in the similar note, okay. These are the drawbacks. To overcome all these drawbacks, there is a new theory will become that we will cover in the next period, that is Mendeleev's periodic table. If anybody is having any doubt, I will come live on Google Meet or Zoom, that I will let you know, and in that I will try to solve all your queries. So before attending that queries session, I request all students to go through these videos that I will upload on YouTube, and clarify your doubts. I will share the link of that query, that Google Meet and all, in the particular group, okay. Allah Hafiz, stay home, stay safe.